So I'm down at the recording studio and rehearsal room at Shotty Horroh, who's about to release his latest album, Scum of the Earth. Joining me now is Shotty and the lads in the band, Ben and Dean. Lads, how you doing?
Good, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, listen, cheers for taking the time out. I know you've got a busy schedule. It's sounding great, the new stuff, really, really good. Shotty, just to take you back, 2017, you signed a record deal with Sony. Where were you in your life at that point?
People might know me from battling and stuff on YouTube. I just kind of stopped that, started doing more music, which was more to me, more to my soul, all the parts of the stuff I grew up on, and Sony picked it up, they heard it, and yeah, we was just touring. It was Sony Canada, so I was touring around Canada a lot. Yeah, man, I feel like that was one of the most slept on albums over here, for maybe because of how it was marketed or whatever, but as far as over here, rock and roll, like that was one of the most slept on albums going, I thought.
It was a brilliant album, Salt of the Earth, and like, so I was talking to someone before and I said, like, your music, it's almost like if you got a tin and put indie and hip hop and rap into it and mixed it up, that's what it comes out. So how would you describe your music?
Yeah, the same. I think it is like the perfect picture of modern Manchester. Do you know what I mean? Like, as much as we're all from indie and stuff like that, you know, the bands here, like Oasis, obviously all the bands that everyone knows, it's a historical place for that kind of music, so we're all born and raised with that. But the hip-hop scene, the music scene, something like there, like that's something I've been involved with for years. It's part of Manchester culture now, as much as people don't recognise that or whatever, but I think it is more a modern, you know, it fits more of the modern young Mancunian. You
grew up in Harper, like you say, you listened to a lot of the Manchester bands and all that kind of stuff. What got you into like the early hip hop stuff? What was your turning point to make you start listening to that as well?
Well, it was the same. It was all the same time. It was all the same people, like my uncles, my older cousins, and all that. They was into the indie, but they was into the hip hop as well. So while they'd be playing Happy Mondays or whatever, the next thing they'll be like, oh well, you heard of Cypress Hill and stuff like that. Just fascinated with. For one, obviously it was the music side of the stuff, but profanity and stuff as a kid, swearing and stuff, I loved it and stuff, you know what I mean, in a rap game, and I realised I could do it. You delve more into, you go from the Tupacs to the Snoops to the big puns right down to the Bone Thugs and all that, and that's a rabbit hole in itself.
It's a proper talent and a very creative thing what you do by mixing all of them together. That album, Salt of the Earth, came out in 2017, and a year later you brought out the single Shoe Dill. What made you write about that part of Manchester kind of thing?
Because that was just the play, because I'm from Harper 8, innit, so the bus stop there on Rochdale Road where we get off in town is Shoe Dill. I've seen the most crazy fights in Shoe Dill, where we've all linked up to go out on like the most notorious stories ever seem to be in and around that little Shoe Dill area, the northern quarter of Manchester, so I just thought it'd fit.
It's a very personal, your music, what you do and stuff like that. What about performing over the last few years? You know, what are your highlights of performing, and you know, do you try and get out there as much as you can gigging?
Well, the Canadian tour was good. We drove from Toronto all the way to Vancouver and then over to Vancouver Island, 70 plus hours. We hit everywhere from Saskatchewan to Algonquin and all these crazy places I couldn't pronounce, and that. Smashed that, but then we came home, did the homecoming show in Manchester, did Soup Kitchen 2 nights in a row with the Salt of the Earth album. That was the pinnacle for me. That was like the highest, like two nights in a row, rammed out. People from all over singing the lyrics. Amazing.
When you went over to places like Vancouver and stuff, like, you know, it is very Mancunian what you're doing, and you know, to people that live around here, it's relatable. How do people over in Vancouver take it? You know, did they get it?
Yeah, they love it. To them, it's like watching a film. Like, you're this little movie guy that's in their life for 5-10 minutes. It's like a Guy Ritchie film or something. Like, oh, look at this little character. This is fun. This English guy, and then, you know what I mean? Like, they kind of just huge on rock and roll. They've had some huge bands, Rush and all that, like sick bands from Canada. They've got their own scene and their own style, but they appreciate the British sound. To them, the British sound, it's more like, oh, Manchester sound or London sound. To them, it's like the British sound, Beatles or whatever. Because
your work really does combine all of that, doesn't it? And like you say, I think that's a good way of putting it, the British sound. So obviously you've got your new album coming out. Have we got a date for your new album yet? That's going to be called Scum of the Earth.
Yeah, as it stands right now, there's no date for Scum of the Earth. It will be this year, later part of this year, I think. But yeah, it will definitely be this year, 100%. We're pretty much done on it. We've just got to refine a few bits and that.
Well, I'm here now, and I've just heard some bits of it, and it's sounding amazing. I've heard a couple of tracks of it. We're going to play one of them in a minute. Love Is Dead, the song that comes out this week. So excited to hear the rest of the album. Just want to bring Ben in. A lot of people know Ben Robinson, Twisted Wheel drummer, a million other bands in Manchester drummer. How's it going working with Shotty? Like, you know what I mean?
It's great. Love it.
How did you get involved?
I'm a grafter.
Hey, you are that.
Word just gets about. How did we? I think we met through Rory.
Yeah.
Rory Birch.
Yeah.
MC Raw Materials.
Yeah.
I don't know how long ago was that.
About over a year ago.
We started jamming.
About a year then.
Yeah.
How does it feel for you two lads, Ben and Dean? Obviously, you two have been in a lot of rock and roll bands in Manchester and stuff. Being with someone like Shotty, who is so creative and brings in a lot more influences and.
We've met our match, really.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would have put it myself. Yeah. It's just been a match made in heaven, isn't it?
All these skills that me and Ben have had over the years, doing all different kinds of music. And like we've done loads of hip hop stuff, we've done loads of rock and roll stuff, and now it's like we've got a nice chance to kind of put them all together in like one project here.
Yeah.
The new single, which is called Love Is Dead, comes out this week. Dean, tell us a little bit about this single and your involvement with it.
That was just a riff. That was like, it didn't exist. We had a bit of like a Zoom call thing where it was like, we need a tune, it's got to kind of be like this, it needs to be a little bit like that. And then literally a month later we was putting the drums on it, sent over like, I think it was only on like mix 1 or mix 2. Shotty said, yeah, that's it, it's done. And that was pretty much the story of that, just a simple guitar riff, nice high energy kind of rock and roll stuff, but then Shotty's signature kind of rapping over it. It's a good little mix.
It does sound great, and Shotty, I'm just saying then I've heard a couple of the tracks of the album that's going to be coming out and it sounds brilliant. Why did you choose this particular single, what we're going to play in a minute, as the one to be like, the first single off the album?
Because love is dead, isn't it, really, these days. Do you know what I mean? I think it's kind of like, it's all pretty superficial and artificial, swipe left, swipe right, no better time to put that out, I think.
Really looking forward to it. You've had a couple of gigs recently. You played in Birmingham a couple of weeks ago. You did your hometown gig in Manchester at Yes a couple of weeks ago as well. Have we got any more like live dates we can look forward to towards the end of the year? Or
not yet, but we have pretty much just nailed on our deal with our new agent. So keep your eyes peeled. There will definitely be new dates announced soon because we just want to get the album done, hit the road, and stay on the road.
Can we look forward to that this side of Christmas? Are we open?
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
We've missed being on the road, like with everything that's been happening and stuff. Yeah, we've missed it. So I just want to go out and live in a bus for a while. I'm ready. Brilliant.
Well, obviously, I wish you all the very best with this album. Like I said, I've just heard a couple of tracks. It sounds amazing. Good luck with it and with everything you're doing. Yeah, Ben and Dean from the band and the legend that is Shotty Horroh. A nice one, man.